Hello everyone, this is Matt Baranowski with Storm Central, and happy Labor Day to all yous. Today is September 5th, 2011. It's going on 4 o'clock Central Daylight Time. We've quite a situation going on with once Tropical Storm Lee that made landfall in Louisiana 2 to 3 days ago. We're going to start off with the national radar, looking over into portions of Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and the southeastern portions of the region. As you can see, we have quite a lot of banding coming in. Now, the center of Lee is located in portions of Mississippi areas here, but as you can see, most of the moisture is on the east side of it, with most of the banding coming into the Florida Panhandle, up to Georgia, into portions of Alabama, South Carolina, and now getting into some of the severe portions into North Carolina. Now, we've had multiple tornado warnings lately in effect for portions of Georgia. We have seen preliminary reports of tornadoes coming into portions of Georgia and into Florida, with these portions of the banding coming in off the Gulf Coast. Now, what we're looking at is Lee located over here. She's sending a trough. He is sending a trough over these regions, which is lifting this. It's also adding to some spin. Now, when you add in this dry air mass, which is preventing storm and rainfall into portions of Louisiana, add some more extra spin to the atmosphere, which is producing some tornadoes. Not only are these tornadoes weak, but they can also be mild in strength, or it means we could be looking at some EF2 tornadoes. Now, we've had tornadoes produce damage in Canton, as of the latest pictures coming in from Canton from the Weather Channel, showing that portions of roofs of the houses in Canton being damaged, and they said there is some damage without the city with the tornado that came through there. So let's go to the GR analysis right now. We'll go back to this in a moment for the most up-to-date. As you can see, we are seeing a tornado warning right now for Atlanta, Georgia. As you can see right now that we do have tornado warnings in effect for all these areas here, as this could become a serious situation. As let's take a look at the vertical velocities here, and this is what we tell to see if there's a good rotation in the air, or not in the air, but rotation up in the atmosphere here. As you can see, the most rotation, we're not seeing any green couplets like we saw earlier with very strong vortex symbols, but as you can see, there is rotation being detected. We're going to stop and take a look at this one going into Atlanta right now. We're going to zoom into it, take a look, as we do have some tornado warning right now for Atlanta, Georgia. As we're just going to take a look at the cell. Most of the rotation looks to be east of Atlanta, but we're going to take a look at the rotation right now. Alright, give GR Earth, or GR analysis. So right now we're looking at the best rotation being east of Atlanta and then right west of Decatur, about 10, let's go above it. See, now we're looking around south of Decatur here. This is going to be the aerial view right now. See, as you can see, Atlanta's right there. We're looking at north right now. And best rotation is going to be south of Decatur and south and east of Atlanta, going for the storm. See, now we're going to take an aerial view of some of these other storms right now. And this is going to be full-fledged, though. Oh, don't want that. Excuse me. So we can do a full-fledged storm going in here. And we're going to turn on the rotations, and we're going to look into the areas here. As you can see, anywhere you see these blue areas, as you can see into Marita, coming into those areas there between Dallas and Marita, there's some rotation. I know this is difficult to see for those, but let's widen it. There's some rotation as I was showing into Decatur. Anytime you see these blues, we're seeing mild rotation. So that's why the tornado warnings are in effect. Now we're going to go to the actual radar outlook of things and take a look into these areas here. As you can see the banding coming into these storms that is producing the tornado warnings. And we do have a moderate risk for tornadoes, or severe thunderstorms in today, 15% for tornadoes, wind being 15, and hail a low chance. We also do have multiple tornado watches in effect. This one encompasses all that counties right there. We're looking at till about 4 p.m., so very shortly. By the time you probably are watching this, it'll be over. Looking at the next weather watch, this is encompassing portions of Georgia, and this is at 8 p.m. Looking at the next weather watch, we're looking at portions of Atlanta, Georgia, South Carolina, and into North Carolina until 11 p.m. Includes those counties. And we're looking at the next weather watch being a severe thunderstorm watch out until 10 p.m. for portions of the Florida Panhandle, southern West Georgia, and southeastern Alabama. And the last weather watch is going into a 10 p.m. tornado watch for portions of uh, Alabama there. Alright, so now we're going to move into the tropics here. As you can see, we do have the cold front, the trough coming in through portions of Indiana all the way, as you can see, by the cold air versus the moist moist atmosphere there. And that's what sends 60-degree temperatures into Chicago. I want you guys to note what's going on over the Lake Michigan areas. This is causing extreme rip currents waves into portions of Indiana and Illinois areas. And we could see some lake effect showers and thunderstorms pop up very soon as we have winds coming off the lake. This is more of a winter setup, but if that lake was cool, I mean, if we were much cooler and that lake was at this temperature, we would be seeing lake effect snow showers. But as you know, it is not 30, 20 degrees, so that would not happen. But as you can see, we do have the remnants of Lee going into these areas. Over here, this big blob right here, that is Katia, a very compact system. She's not really spread out like Irene was. Now, going into over in these areas, this is what we'll be watching for the next storm coming in. That could be affecting the Gulf or into portions of the East Coast. Stay tuned to that. We'll come to that in a second. Alright, so right now we have Katia. She is a Cat 3 hurricane, moving 12 miles northwest at 12 miles per hour, staying at 115 miles an hour. So just a Cat 3 hurricane. This Cat 3 is 111 and above. Location is 25.2 north, 63 north, 9 west. This is as the 5 p.m. update. Now let's check on Lee real quick. As you can see, this is what's prohibiting into this tornado threat here. As we're going to zoom in a bit, and you can see the dry air coming in all these areas here, and that's affecting where the system is going to be producing its tornadoes and where we won't be seeing any rain at all. Now let's go to the next graphic. We're looking at the rainbow infrared satellite loop right now, and as you can see, lots of reds, deep reds here. This is showing very high rainfall, not only rainfall amounts, but lots of explosion and thunderstorms. Now, this is Katia here. As you can see, a well-defined eye. And this is, we're looking at where, let's put on the LL, we're looking at around 25, 64, 65 regions, if you want to know the longitude and latitude areas. Going into, you see the deep colors here. As you can see, we go through a recycling stage right about now as the eye recycles itself. Lots of fanning going on. The system is not getting any weaker. And as we'll go to, as you can see, there's not a lot of shear. Maybe a little shear will prohibit this in the coming future, coming into the Bahamas. So we could see a little weakened, but not much. Leo is over here with the trough, and we're looking at the next system, which I'll talk about in a second. So, as we can widen this out, I'm not sure if you guys saw that last graphic, excuse me. So let's go back to that. As you can see, we do have some weak shear into these areas in the next storm over there. Alright, so we're going to go to what now is Hurricane Katia, and this is what the models are taking here. We're taking it up and just west of Bermuda, likely by a great amount, and then north, and then shortly north and east for not affecting any land at all. We could see some high waves for these areas, high rip currents, dangerous at the beaches for the east coast for the next couple days, but as of now I'm not predicting any landfalling hurricane for portions of the east coast at all. Now this is the next storm we want to take a look at. We're looking at Invest 95L, excuse me, and right now we're looking at it's centered at it's 109 millibars, 9.4 north, 31.4 west, 655 statute miles to the southwest from Cape Verde Island. Now, what we're looking at, this is going to keep going in this general direction before we get to portions of Puerto Rico. From about where we're looking at right there, we're looking at in the Puerto Rico Islands area. This could be a lot of models want to take this up the East Coast. This could be a Gulf storm also, so we'll have to keep close watch to it. Now we're going to go to my forecast for Katia right now. This was just made by me, looking at now a Cat 3 hurricane. So we're looking at Cat 3 statuses right now coming into these areas. Should be a Cat 2 off the coast of Bermuda. Still Cat 2 off the coast, way off the coast of North Carolina, before lifting northward into a Cat 1 and then tropical storm off the coast of Nova Scotia. As for that low here, we're looking at it just keep throttling through. You can see it in the Puerto Rican areas for the next week. So everyone stay tuned to Storm Central for the latest. We'll have the latest on anything weather breaking. Stay tuned to centralstorm.wordpress.com, so we'll have all these updates coming in for the latest, as you can see by me or David. Please rate us by stars. As you can see, that is located right here. You can rate by stars either good, average, poor, very poor, and excellent job. And thank you everyone for watching. Stay tuned to Storm Centrals. Let's go one more time real quick to this. We still have tornado warnings for all these areas as we can motion this radar coming in, and we still have tornado warnings for these areas. Anyone in Georgia under a tornado warning, take shelter immediately.